Nation, what up? It is Darth Raider here. It is Friday, January 27th. Moving forward, I'm going to be making a video every Friday during the off season called Blitz Fridays. Just going to gather the news that had been going on with Raider Nation, throughout the week and kind of just, spill it over to you guys, let you guys know what I think. A couple of exercises, a couple of scenarios, any signings that had been going on during the week. And once we get closer to free agency, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of videos surrounding who might be a good fit. All right, so it looks like we brought in two players signed to a reserve / future deal. The first one being wide receiver Tyler Johnson. Apparently last year he was with the Houston Texans, but he does have some experience being in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with his best season being in 2020, only having 2 touchdown catches. The second guy we signed was Adam Butler, coming out of Miami. Looks like he didn't play at all last year because I didn't find any stats on him, but he did play for a few years over in New England, so obviously there's that familiarity going on with him. So that was pretty much it as far as signings go. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really mean too much. These guys just seem like they're going to be filling up some spots over at training camp and for the rest of the 90-man squad. Now on to the juicy stuff. As we all know, Derek Carr is supposed to either be traded before that February 15th deadline or released before that February 15th deadline. And according to Adam Schefter, Derek Carr is expected to be traded before that February 15th deadline. Hey, apparently the NFC South needs some quarterbacks, so that got me thinking. I mean, honestly, I just put down a list of like 5 teams that can potentially sign Derek Carr. I was gonna do a top, ranking them from 5th to 1st, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to do that research. I didn't want to check out like the cap space numbers and everything like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot you guys 5 teams that I think might be running at them and might be a good fit for him. Now keep in mind that most of these teams already have a defense with the exception of one, so I'm just not going to repeat the fact that they have a defense. The first one that came to mind was the Washington Commanders. They have a young running back in Brian Robinson. They have Scary Terry. They have that will be a second-year wide receiver in that Dotson kid. And I think Jack Del Rio is still the defensive coordinator. He was actually our coach for about 3 years, so there's that familiarity. The second team I was thinking about is going to be the Houston Texans. Now keep in mind that the Houston Texans might actually draft a quarterback, but if they don't, if they're in a position that they want to go defense like Will Anderson or Andre Carter, this draft, Derek Carr might be an option for them. The Texan fan base has already had some familiarity with, with another Carr, David, his older brother. Brandon Cooks is out there, and the running back Damian Pierce is actually pretty good. One of the most obvious teams that he's been linked to is going to be the New York Jets. Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall, and James Robinson. So, I mean, that's going to be a good one. The only thing I'm afraid about in that situation is that New York media will eat him alive. Another team that is currently linked to him right now is the Carolina Panthers, NFC South. Good weather. They got DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall, Rashad Higgins, a little lacking in the running back room with Dante Foreman, I think that being their best running back there. But I think the recent link is because their new head coach, Frank Reich, actually wanted Derek Carr in Indianapolis. He was about to trade 2 firsts last year for him. So, they recently emerged, so that might be a possibility. And finally, my favorite destination would be the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is probably more of a pipe dream more than anything, just because from what I've heard, their cap situation is not great at all, and I don't think they can carry a quarterback at $40 million. But I mean, hey, they got Alvin Kamara, they got Benjamin down there. Not too sure what's going on with Michael Thomas, but they have Chris Olave. Not sure if Jarvis Landry is coming back, but I do think that Jarvis Landry actually gave him some props a couple of years ago. Juwan Johnson is up and down there, so I personally think that's probably his best bet as a player. If there was like no cap situation, I think that would be the best fit for him. But in reality, I honestly think that it's going to be the Carolina Panthers that are going to be ending up with Derek Carr. All right, so moving on from DC to someone that is actually going to be in our team, or at least we hope is going to be in our team, is going to be running back Josh Jacobs. Tuesday morning, he actually sent out a tweet saying it gotta make sense for me. I think most of Raider Nation knew what he was talking about because in the final interview right after the season ended, Josh Jacobs was asked a question about his contract, what he thinks he's gonna do, blah blah blah, and he obviously said it does have to make sense for him in order for him to sign with us. So him tweeting it out again, kind of just seals the deal on that. We kind of already figured that there would be already some kind of negotiations. When I saw it when I was at the gym, I automatically thought like, all right, maybe this first offer that they sent out maybe just didn't satisfy him. At the same time, I think I had read the day before that Saquon Barkley had been offered like a $12 million extension per year, and he declined that. So, you know, I did a little bit of research here, and I went on Sports Strike, got the top 5, you know, running back salaries, which I'll go ahead and post up right here. As you can see, we got Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara. Both of these guys are earning $15 million per year. Christian McCaffrey's at $16 million per year. Dalvin Cook is at 12, and Derrick Henry is at 12.5. So we're honestly going to be looking anywhere around, you know, maybe $13-14 million for Josh Jacobs if we want to be able to keep his services. Last I heard, the cost to tag a running back in free agency was about $12.75 million. I'm honestly not opposed to that. Not that I don't think Josh Jacobs doesn't deserve the bag, sorry. He absolutely does. He was by far the best running back in the NFL. I personally would like to keep him. I think he's one of those guys that always plays with heart, always plays with tenacity, always plays with strength, always is a bully. Pretty much Marshawn Lynch 2.0, Beast Mode 2.0. But how much is too much? Do we want to be in a situation like the Cowboys? Do we want to be in the situation like the Saints? The Niners can technically afford Christian McCaffrey right now because they have like 0 picks for the next 17 years. So they can afford to just pay anybody else. Obviously, depending on who our quarterback is going to be, might even determine how much he's going to get. Overall, I would say the most I would want to give him is going to be around $13.5 million for the next 3 years. Anything above that, then I'm sorry, Josh. I'm sorry, but like I'm not going to be able to pay that for you. We're going to have to, you know, pay some other people. We still got Devontae to pay, along all the other contracts that we're currently paying, like Waller, like Hunter. So yeah, 13.5 per year max for the next 3 years is probably a good number for me. And last and not least, I know Raider Nation is super excited for a certain quarterback that has not made up his mind just yet. This is going to be called the Brady Watch. Every Monday, he hops on a podcast called Let's Go with his co-host, Jim Gray. And take a look at this clip.
Tom, you're leaving everybody guessing. You said you'll take your time. Do you have any type of a timetable as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it. Okay, I'm taking it a day at a time.
So obviously he is pretty irritated that people keep asking him this question. I probably would too. 45, 46 years old, just got divorced with Giselle, trying to figure out what's going on with my kids. Am I going to stay in Florida? Am I going to go to Las Vegas? I mean, a whole bunch of things. Am I tired? Like, am I tired of just playing right now? It's just, I don't know. Just way too many questions to ask. So obviously he hasn't made up his mind, but then again, free agency is going to be coming up. That deadline for Derek Carr is going to be coming soon. So we're hoping that he can make the decision sooner rather than later. That way you can kind of fall into like this kind of domino effect for us and for the rest of the league. All right, Raider Nation, that was a quick little video. This is going to be the Friday Blitz going on every Friday. Please feel free to like this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Leave me any kind of feedback, any kind of messages you guys want to go ahead and send out. Just go ahead and put it at the bottom. I'll try to respond as fast as I can. Raider Nation, I am out.